Hi everyone, my name is Rayma Hall. I am a history major here at Fresno State and I'm approaching my senior year. So the ethnic group that I identify with would be Black female, that I'm minority group, and some of the major stereotypes for people who are in the same community that I am in is we're underpoverished, we're uneducated, we speak in Ebonics, we're lazy, we don't want to work hard, all of that sort of stuff. Sorry, my questions are on my computer. And I think that the way that when that really affected me was probably when I was in high school and middle school, because I live in a predominantly white area, so I wasn't really a part of the Black community as much as I wanted to be. And so I always felt like I had to overcompensate, right? I always felt like, okay, this is their image of me, so now I have to work hard. I have to make sure I'm always speaking proper English. I'm never speaking slang. I have to make sure that I get the perfect grades so my teachers don't look down upon me. I just have to make sure I work super, super, super hard. So I put a lot of pressure on myself and I overcompensated in order to prove that I wasn't like that group. You know what I mean? Or prove that I didn't fit a specific stereotype. And I think that ideology is really toxic, right? Because we should be uplifting our ethnicity and the groups that we're a part of instead of trying to suppress that part of us. You know what I mean? And then that kind of actually negatively affected me, because then people would say like, oh, you're whitewashed, or you're not like the rest of your ethnicity. And so like the older I got, the more that I came to that realization, and the more like I had to work hard on that, and I started to educate myself and started to correct that sort of thinking and that behavior. If you should clear up a misconception about that group, something you wish others would realize and accept. Let me get started. So one thing that I want to realize and clear up is the idea of being undereducated. So the way that schools work, or at least public schools in California work, is that they're funded through property taxes, right? So if you go in Clovis Unified School District, Central Unified School District, the property value of those homes is higher, so that there is a higher tax collected. And that tax collection is what funds these schools. So if you go on the west side or in lower income areas near the Tower District, a lot of people live in apartment complexes, or they've lived in those houses for generations, so the property value is lower. So now these schools are underfunded, right? So they're underfunded, they don't have the proper resources and tools to really succeed and reach that high academic level. So that's where that misconception comes from, right? And that vernacular. And another thing that I've really noticed is that the way that people perceive Black women, right? Like, we're loud, we're ghetto, all of our fashion and our music is ghetto, but then that transcends to pop culture. Like, I remember my friends getting made fun of for having big lips. I remember people would make fun of my body type because I'm built, like, I'm not to say that people of other ethnicities can't have big lips or can't have wide noses or don't have like big booties, but that's predominantly a Black trait, right? So Black women would get made fun of, and in the early 2000s it was you were to be a stick, you know what I mean? That was the body that was trendy at the time. And so now with the Kardashians and all these social media Instagram models, Instagram baddies, we're seeing that body type is what's becoming popular. So it's kind of interesting how if a Black woman does it, it's deemed as ghetto, or that's ugly, that's trashy, but then that transcends to pop culture and then it's becoming acceptable. And I think that's where the issues come with like Black women being upset that people wear braids in their hair, or they wear dreads, or because it's like the same things that we were made fun of and deemed as ghetto are now acceptable because a white woman does it, or a woman of a different ethnicity now does it, and so now it's acceptable. So thank you guys so much for watching my video.